Hey, Carol, we received some really nice reviews lately on Apple Podcasts, which God bless them for even trying, because it is really hard to leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
It is.
Apple Podcasts.
It
So
is.
this one is from Kurt in Northwest Connecticut, which I assume is Connecticut. It says NWCT. So you read it.
Well, it's really
Read it.
tiny on my
I
screen.
had
Hang
to
on.
take it a screenshot because it wouldn't let me copy it.
Yeah, but I have to embiggen my screen because I can't see it on this little screen that I'm looking at. You read it. I can't see. Wait a minute. I have to
I can
embiggen.
see it. You could
Okay.
just say, you want me to read it?
Yeah, I can read the headline. Real gardeners, hooray.
It says, I have been listening to Dee and Carol for about a year, and this podcast and all of the side goodies these gardeners share is gold. Their gardening stories are real. They only venture to comment critically on plants they have actually grown, and the rabbit holes have sent me diving down into fascinating topics. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work. And if you're a listener looking for a garden talk, subscribe. Wow.
That's really nice. Quite the endorsement. We should hire Kurt to be our PR agent.
Boy, we should. In the meantime, I'll get us started.
Alrighty.
Welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I am Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I garden still about an acre out in the country.
And I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre.
I wish I had a third of an acre. We are Garden Angelus because we love gardening and we want you to love it too.
Yes, we do. And we aren't afraid to tell all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode. Good morning, Dee.
Good morning, Carol. Tell me all about your garden this week.
Well, I am all red-faced at the moment because I went out this morning and this one little area beside the vegetable garden that kind of curves into like a shrub border.
Yep.
The honeyberry had died, and so I cut all that out. And then I had a bunch of the St. John's wort, the herb, not the shrub, but the messy stuff that goes all over. I cut all that out, weeded, and it's not done, but, pulled out black-eyed Susan volunteers, pulled out
No,
mulberry
imagine a
weed.
black-eyed Susan volunteer.
Yeah, mulberry
weed. Oh my gosh. Can we just mulberry weed?
Yeah.
It is a nightmare.
There are some daylilies over there, and I got those pulled out all those dead stalks. And anyway, but that's what I've been doing this week when I can. I've mowed the grass, big harvest yesterday, a lot of peppers, some nice tomatoes, cucumbers, maybe the last of green beans from the one patch, but I have another little section. So yeah, and I got, I accepted an estimate for tree trimming next week, and second guy came to do a fence estimate.
Spending that hard-earned dough.
Yeah, Mama's spending her retirement money.
Yeah. Okay, well, in my garden, there wasn't much to harvest in my vegetable garden, which has been a big topic in Oklahoma, and there's lots of reasons why. And I actually did a video on it on Instagram. And then I harvested green beans, though. The green beans are doing really well, and I did that twice, and Bill and I enjoyed them. And then I guess you could say I harvested flowers because I got 3 different bouquets.
Nice.
I really enjoyed those. And I weeded. I weeded and I weeded and I weeded. Not today, but I'm getting ready to go out there and water my plants, which is the other thing I did. I watered all my pots that I don't have on drip irrigation. And frankly, right now I could weed 24/7 and it wouldn't be enough. So I just go out there and do a little bit every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I fertilize the containers on Sunday, which is when I try to do it. I don't always get it done, but I try. And then I think I was out there on Wednesday and I fertilized all my roses because I'm thinking about opening the garden in September.
But that'd be nice to see what the garden looks like in late summer.
Yeah, instead of just in June. I also ordered seeds.
Nice. I did not order seeds, but I was going to say related to the weeding and stuff, you just can't worry about it after a while.
There's always next year and the weeds will be there. It's kind of like laundry or doing the dishes. It's always there. It's not like it's not going to be there for you.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
what's your favorite this week?
So my favorite this week, I am going to go with that Allium Millennium, which is
Yep.
lovely this time of year. Bees and wasps and things all over it. It's quite the pollinator. And dang carefree, as I'd like to say. I cut it back in early spring. I will deadhead some of the blooms. It's not supposed to self-sow, but you can't be too careful.
Yeah, and it spreads really well by division, which you pointed
Oh,
out in your
yes.
blog post that I saw this morning. There's
Share it,
another,
share it, share it.
yeah, you can share it everywhere or move it around in your garden. You can make borders of it everywhere if you want to. It's a great pollinator plant. And I was going to mention serendipity, which is a new one on the block.
I think I have serendipity. It's taller than millennium
Yes,
and
you
blooms a
can
little
plant
bit
it
earlier.
behind. Yeah,
Plant
it does.
So I have some of that here in the front.
It's a proven winners plant, so it might be easier for people to find because I'm not seeing millennium as much. And then there's another one out there called lavender bubbles that I have.
Yes. And then
It's
there's
another
another one
similar one.
that's kind of a pinkish color that I put in the pink garden, and I would be remiss to try to name it at the moment because I couldn't. But none of them seem to produce more bulbs or bulbs and spread the way millennium does.
No,
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's something else. So in my garden, it really has to be the zinnias again. I have never seen such, well, I say that every year, but I'm looking at them outside. The
Uh-huh.
garden is finally doing exactly what I want it to do, which is everywhere there was an empty spot, I put in a zinnia and they've grown really nice and big. And
Nice.
they're just looking pretty. And the Aurora mix and the agave mix that I got from Johnny's, I ran out and bought again because I want it next year and I don't want it to sell out before I have some.
That's right. Right. Once Dee has her seeds, then the rest of us poor minions can go get our seeds.
I mean, it is what it is. I did order
Uh,
some. I ordered a lot of things, though. I ordered Oklahoma carmine. I ordered some carrots, some kale. It's been oh, you can't forget the Benary's giant coral. That's a
no,
good one.
no, you can't.
Okay. Anyway,
Well, and you bring up a
zinnias,
good point,
zinnias.
Dee, a very good point. You can order seeds now for next year, and they will
Yeah,
still be
they still
fine.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, still work. Just don't save them in your drawer and not use them next year. You could actually, in my climate, you could still maybe sow some, but right now the bug pressure is so bad and the crow pressure, the crow pressure of the crows eating the seeds. I gave up on sunflowers and zinnias. So there you go. How about the question of the week? You ask.
So I was walking around the neighborhood and I saw one of the neighbors. He's an older gentleman. And actually, I had taught him how to put stakes in the ground using PVC pipe. And then you drop the stake in, makes it easier to get a nice firm. So he's been doing that the last couple of years. And I said, well, how are your tomatoes doing? The plants look great. And he says, they're all rotting. And I suspect,
Some end rot?
no, I think a lot of it is the heat.
Oh,
And they're just it's getting so hot that they just sort of, I don't know, they just start to turn really fast. So I told them to pick them just as they start to show that color and then put them on the counter and let them ripen on the counter because that's how I'm keeping from the raccoons eating all mine. Because I did go in there yesterday and I cleaned mine up and cut off all the dead stuff. And so anyway, that was the question. And I did want to say related to tomatoes, if you have diseased leaves, just go ahead and cut those off now. And I have one entire variety that I planted called Bonnie's Best, completely consumed by blight. I will not plant that
you
variety
will not
again.
plant Bonnie's Best again?
No, no. In fact, I
I
thought
had,
I need to find the seed packet in case there's seeds in there and I'm tempted.
yeah, throw those seeds away quickly because the word best might make you want to do it
It's an
again.
heirloom variety and I got suckered into it by one of those lost ladies. And I tried
They'll
that
do it
last
to
year.
you.
It did okay last year, but this year, just nothing.
Yeah. My tomatoes have been really sad this year. I will say the ones that I replanted, because my original ones just sat there and rotted in the ground because it was too wet. The ones I replanted are starting to produce tomatoes, which I can't eat, so I give them to Bill. And I'll probably slice up some tonight. I also pull mine in early when they just start to show color. But here I do it not because of the raccoons, because of the shield bugs, the ones that suck. You'll
Yeah.
get they'll destroy your tomato so fast you won't know what happened. So
Right.
there you
Right.
go. That's the question of the week.
Okay.
So, new segment. We got 2 new segments this week.
Right. This
All
first one
right.
was your idea, and it is the insect of the week. And so I
Yeah,
said, "Sure, let's do
so
it. I have one for next week, so tell us about the one you came up with for this week."
so it's the silvery checker spot butterfly and the Gorgon checker spot butterflies. They look, I mean, their children, their larval stage, looks exactly the same. And if you're wondering what is eating your Rudbeckia hirta, that's the fuzzy leaf Rudbeckias, or your sunflowers, it's these little darlings. And you can make the decision about what you want to do about it. Just know that when they get on your plants, the minute you see 1 or 2 of them, you better act now, either removing the insects and putting them
Right.
on gold sturm where they won't hurt anything, or using your more integrative pest management selection. And, there's a lot of organic ones out there. I would not use neem oil because neem oil is too hot. So they can take out your sunflower plants very quickly.
Now,
The upside of this, before the
wait a
butterfly
minute.
people kill me, yes.
Wait a minute. So are you talking about both? It's the silvery checker spot, and what's the other one?
I think it's called a Gorgon checker spot, but let me look it up just to be sure.
So do
Yeah,
both of
it's
them
Gorgon.
are both of them big eaters of your sunflowers? Because I have never had any problems in my garden with any silvery checker spot.
Yes. Yes, they just will take them out. And it can be those or it can be the border patch. So we're going to talk about all 3. They make beautiful butterflies, but their larval parts look just their larval children, whatever, they look almost exactly alike. I personally can't tell them apart. I'm sure a butterfly expert can, but when I see them on my plants, I have to make a decision to sacrifice one plant or dispense with them, or I usually put them over on my gold stern Rudbeckia because they'll eat that too. But our friend Jennifer Hessman from Ladybug Lane ended up with thousands on her sunflowers, and she lost $800 worth of sunflowers in 2
That's a
days.
lot of sunflowers. Now, yeah, I see here
75 or so.
the host plants do include black-eyed Susan and sunflowers, and it
Yep,
feeds on the nectar of red clover, common milkweed, dogbane, etc. And I'm looking at a site called butterflyidentification.com, which I'm assuming is a legit site, but
it
since
is.
I don't spend tons of time looking at butterflies. But the silvery checker spot has unfortunately been eradicated in Connecticut. The importance of habitat preservation and species conservation efforts to prevent further losses. There you go.
So one of the plants that all 3 of them love here for adult nectar plants, are zinnias. They love them. And they love all the mints. So any mint you grow, whether it's mountain, which is native, or you're growing some spearmint in a container, they love all of those. So
Cool.
I have a plethora of all of them. I will say in my garden, I don't spray. I really don't. I can't think of the last time I sprayed. And frankly, the birds eat them. And so I just take off because you can't, they come in clusters here where they cover leaves.
Right,
I just
right.
take off the whole leaf and I take it over to the goldsturm, and they can't hurt goldsturm. They'll eat to their heart's content. It's just not their preference. They love those Rudbeckia hirtas. And I lost all of mine this year to them.
So
Now,
I'm
the
looking up.
butterfly people are going to be mad at me for even talking about this, but it is, if you're growing a cash crop,
Yeah, it's a big deal.
it's a big deal.
So
So,
I looked up another one because when I looked up checker spots, because I will tell you that I am no butterfly expert, though I did take entomology in college. There's a Baltimore checker spot that looks really, really pretty.
I don't have that
And
one.
this one, it says, where did it say? Because it doesn't really have a map, but it does. I think this one is more from west of Nova Scotia throughout the Great Lakes region, which I would be in, down to the southern parts of the eastern U.S., north in Georgia, Mississippi, and Oklahoma. So You might have
Hmm.
it, but there might be some around there. But that is a stunning butterfly, the Baltimore checker spot.
Well, truthfully, all of the checker spot butterflies are extremely beautiful in person. I don't think that photographs do them justice. And so I guess my point is you got to put up with your children if you want the adult butterflies. But
Ah,
if you grow sunflowers for a living, you don't want to lose them all of them.
that's right.
So there
So
you go.
I will say this, what I like about the insect of the week segment is we are both learning something new whenever, because
Mhm.
I don't claim to know much about entomology.
I just know what I've researched over the years because I had to. And if you know your insects, you're a lot better off because then
Life
you don't just go around arbitrarily killing everything.
lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning. Want to do the quote?
Here's flowers for you: hot lavender, mints, savory, marjoram, the marigold that goes to bed with the sun and with him rises weeping. These are flowers of middle summer, and I think they are given to men of middle age. William Shakespeare.
So, interestingly, he's not talking about the marigold that we're familiar with
Right.
in the United States, which is Tagetes. He's talking about calendula, which is called pot marigold in England. So, anytime the English talk about marigold, they're talking about calendula, and here they're talking about Tagetes,
All
usually.
righty. So we are on the letter V. We're almost done with the alphabet. And you're like, oh, thank God. Who knew this would take 26 weeks when we started it?
You did.
Well,
Half the year.
it has made it easier to figure out a topic for the podcast each week.
Yeah.
So
What will we do next? Who knows? Okay, so V, you said, is for all things verbena, which is
right.
in the Verbenaceae family. And so it is also called vervain. And a question I got asked because I talked about our first verbena on Instagram, and somebody wrote me and said, "Why don't you why don't you grow the Oklahoma, the native verbenas?" And I said, "Well, because I don't want to. 'Cause it's
Now,
my garden." And sometimes I grow native ones, but that day I was talking about Verbena bonariensis, which we both really like.
right, right. And we're going to just talk about 4 verbenas because there's like 150 species in that genus. And we have talked incessantly about Verbena bonariensis. Herbaceous, it's actually listed as zones 7 to 11, and I'm in 6A, but it does self-sow for me.
It does
And
so.
we both had Seeds for Vanity, which is All America winter selection, and it's done really well. And like I said, I have it coming up by my mailbox 2nd year in a row. I have it coming up in this front bed 3rd year in a row.
Mhm.
And I really want to get it to kind of start coming up in the back more. So pollinators love it.
Pollinators love it, which is why it self-sows, because pollinators love varieties that set seed because they have a lot of pollen and they have a lot of nectar, and this one
Right.
has little flowers on it. So it's really, really pretty. There's also a shorter version called Lollipop, and a lot of people grow it, especially in containers or in really tidy beds, because regular vanity is just not tidy and it blows with the wind, which I like,
I
but not
I like that
everybody.
too. In fact, I think what I'll do is see if I can get some of the seed heads
Mhm.
from the ones out front and then go and sprinkle them around the back and just kind of see what nature does with them.
That's what I do with them. I just take the sea head as I'm deadheading, I just throw them into the bed. Now, I will say it self-sows too much for some people, and because I have heard that, but it doesn't do that here. It just looks good. And
Yeah.
then we can't not mention Bampton.
Bampton, you talk about self-sowing. Okay, Dee, I have to laugh at the likes of you and I. We thought this
Right,
was
the
going to be
plants.
so hard to start from seed. And I have that coming up all through the patio cracks. Every container that was near the Bampton container last year has Bampton growing up in it.
Here
It is
too.
everywhere. So we now
So if you
know
don't want it everywhere, you better not grow it. That's what I would
exactly.
say. But I like it.
I do like it. It's got a sort of a carefree free and, it would be better if yeah. It's a Verbena officinalis variety grandiflora. Not big blooms at all, but lots of airy loveliness.
And it was found in Bampton, England. That's why
Right.
it's named Bampton. And that's where I
Now,
first saw it, was in England. And I said, I got to have that. And then, oh Lord, I've got it now everywhere. I mean,
so do you notice many pollinators on the flowers?
I do over in the vegetable garden, which I have
Yeah.
some containers over there. So yeah, it actually does attract
I
pollinators.
I
And
don't really notice it.
I deadheaded all of mine and it's reblooming now, although not as extensive as it was. So now we're going to talk about the native verbenas.
Verbena hastata, blue vervain. I looked it up
It's
on Select
native.
Seeds. I actually am tempted to get some seeds for it from Select Seeds.
It's really pretty, and I have no problem with it. I think there are 3 different verbenas that are native to Oklahoma, but don't quote me on that because I'm just doing that off the top of my head. There's nothing wrong with them. They're awesome.
So
Plant them if you wish.
here's what Select Seeds wrote, because I want to quote that. Blue vervain has narrow flower spikes artfully arranged into a candelabra of vivid violet purple blooms. The spike flowers resemble stiff woven cords, and the florets open and burn bright from the bottom to the tops of the spikes from summer to fall. Once called Simpler's Joy for its medicinal qualities, it now graces stream banks and moist meadows, spreading to offer drifts that butterflies can't resist. I think it would be
So,
hardy.
I think it would be too, and I think it'd be pretty easy to grow, and it is
Self-sowing,
very
spreading, those are trigger words that are spreading to offer drifts that butterflies can't resist. Sort of like, it will self-sow if you get it in a spot that it likes. And it
so
likes
the
to stay
select
moist.
yeah, which might be the issue here, but Select Seeds has a picture of it, and it's planted with globe amaranth and yarrow, yellow yarrow, and it's very striking, very pretty.
I'm not gonna. If I go look, then there I would be stuck again, thinking, where's a moist spot that I could grow that? Where is a moist spot that I could grow that?
And now we also are going to talk about an annual verbena, which is Verbena times hybrida, which means hybrid. And this one you brought up was Verbena Sweetheart Kisses, which is an AAS winner. And were you sent seeds? I was.
Yeah, I think I was sent seeds last year, and it's very pretty.
It's very pretty. It comes in pink, white, and red. And it has been a winner in my pots this year, an absolute winner. It has handled because okay, so that spreading type verbena, they call it spreading because it falls over the edges of pots or it looks
Right.
like it spreads in the front of a border, but it doesn't really spread. That type of verbena is really attacked by spider mites here, really bad.
I could see that.
So it's a problem here. And Homestead Purple, I cannot grow. Some people can grow it just fine. I cannot. However, Sweetheart Kisses fought off those spider mites and has done really well. And I just cut it back and now it's got a whole new fresh set of blooms. So
Nice.
there you go. It's been a great
So,
one.
and Sweetheart Kiss is just one of hundreds of varieties of
Oh,
the.
yeah.
It's a perennial further south, but here and everywhere it's grown as an annual. And I actually have some yellow verbena, which might be something else entirely. It doesn't have the same look as the
Never
Sweetheart
seen that.
Kisses. Huh?
I've never seen that before in
Yellow?
yellow. Interesting.
I don't think it's a hybrid, and it's like I should go. The hanging baskets are right out there. I should have grabbed one of those tags. It has a thicker, coarser leaf, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Hmm.
So, and I should have deadheaded it more than I did, but I thinking about giving it another cut back because it's kind of like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you need to bloom a little bit more.
There you go.
So that's our verbena. We could have done a lot of other Vs. I was thinking out there when I was working in the garden, I'm like, when I came across my viburnum, like, why didn't we talk about viburnums or Veronica or,
Viola.
well, yeah, but I got that snuck in the next section. Let's talk about vegetables after you do this quote.
It was August, and the fields were high with corn. The first flowers of autumn would soon begin to set the hedgerows aflame. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
You know, the more you read about him, the nuttier he was.
Wrote great stories, but
Great
yes.
stories, but man, that guy was nuts. We could get into that whole thing about
The fairies.
the fairies and he thought they were real. And oh my gosh,
Yeah, he really did.
he was really a hoot. But anyway, V is for vegetables. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. I listed 3 things. Vetch as a cover crop. Yay or nay, D?
Nay,
Nay, nay,
nay, no,
nay,
no, no.
no. So
It is a huge, huge problem in Oklahoma.
it
It has
is.
escaped, and it's
Yeah, it escaped.
growing
It is a
everywhere.
legume and it is perennial, which everybody likes. And it can loosen the soil and add nitrogen, as they say on True Leaf Market. But then it escaped. And I don't know what they're talking about. They just called it vetch. And there's hairy vetch, crown vetch, but it's invasive in Indiana. I wouldn't touch it.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't put it in mine. So hairy vetch is considered invasive by the University of Minnesota Extension. It is still, I just looked it up online. It's still grown as a cover crop in Oklahoma. I wouldn't grow it as a cover crop because it's in all of our hedgerows, all of them.
I would stay away from
It's
vetch.
everywhere. It's
There was
pretty. It's that
a
purple thing in the roadsides in the spring, but
right.
it is.
And
Oof.
a lot of people planted it on hillsides because it would hold the soil from being eroded down the hill. But
Yeah,
no.
well, okay, and it's very, very, very aggressive.
So
It's like the wind, probably like Verbena Bampton.
anyway, so that is a big no on vetch.
Okay, now moving on
V is for Vitex, the
because
chaste tree.
it is edible. Yeah,
Well, I'm not sure if it's edible in the sense of you have a big bowl of Vitex,
I
but
wouldn't eat it like that.
the fruit is used herbally by many herbalists in the past and probably in the present to heal a lot of female problems, we shall put it.
Okay, sounds fine. So here's the deal on Vitex. I have 3 of them in this bed that's underneath my retaining wall, which is right outside my office. And they've done great. It's the Delta Blues selection. It does not seem to set seed at all because in some states, like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, parts of Texas, it is considered invasive. I have not heard it's invasive at all in Oklahoma. For one thing, it's a ground hardy year, but some years it dies all the way to the ground, and I have to cut it down just like crepe myrtles and redo it. So I have not had any trouble with it. Makes a good cut flower. Bumblebees love it. What else is there to say?
I got a trial plant of it 2 years ago from Bailey Nursery, and I was like, "Vitex, is that hardy here?" And the one they sent, apparently it is, and it's been out there it's in its 3rd year, and that was the area that I was actually weeding around this morning, and it looks really good, and so I'm anxious to see how big it's gonna get because right now it's all of a foot tall, and it hasn't really grown much taller than that, and I'm like, "That
Mine
is."
are pretty tall.
Yeah, I need it to grow taller to
Mine
make
are
it.
nice, big, tall trees that, well, as understory stories go, understory trees go. But I also had to cut them back 3 years ago, all the way to the ground, so they grow right back. Is yours blooming right now?
It was blooming, it's not blooming right now.
Mine finished its first big bloom and then sent up some more flower spikes. I need to go and trim it back. That's another thing. If you don't want it to spread, if you're worried about that, just trim off those fruits.
Yeah, and I really am sad to have missed the bloom that was kind of in that weedy area that I've got cleaned up, and I thought, "Well, sorry."
It'll get better.
Yeah, so you
It'll
need to be
grow.
bigger for me to notice you. You're stuck down in here.
So I bought 3 little tidbit hydrangeas or tiny tidbit, whatever it is, and I'm gonna put them around my Mary statue because
Ah,
I'm tired of working so hard in that area that doesn't seem to like anything. And they came in little tiny quart, not even a quart container, like the Proven Winners pot. And I was like,
right.
"Oh, I thought they were gonna be a bit bigger."
Always read the fine print, D.
I guess I didn't read the fine print that day. Oh, well, it's the way it goes.
But anyway,
So,
Vitex, I mean, if you wanted to have like only edible or herbal useful plants in your garden, you might consider Vitex as long as you're not living in one of those states in the Southwest where it's considered invasive. And it might be a lovely addition because like it blooms in the summer when not a lot of other trees and shrubs are blooming.
Carol, that's a great idea because you can make it the centerpiece of an herb garden. It'd be
Oh,
really
beautiful.
the
Yeah.
silvery blue leaves. It has silvery blue leaves and it has blue flowers, which not very many things do, or purple, the variety you get. Mine's very blue.
You
And
gave me
then
an idea, Dee.
I did.
Hmm.
And then
So,
think of all your silvery, herbs. It'd be really pretty.
well, yeah, yeah. Anyway, no, I've nixed my idea
Oh, okay.
because it would
That's how
have.
it goes.
Because the problem is with my honeyberry, the one died and the other one is like
Mhm.
vigorous and overgrowing in space. Well, you have to have cross pollination in order to get honeyberries. So I got no honeyberries because there's just the one, and guarantee nobody else in the neighborhood's growing honeyberry.
You
So
think?
yeah, so I just had this brilliant idea that why don't I get two Vitex, move the one Vitex by a Vitex, but I'd have to dig out the living honeyberry. And I thought, no, don't get all doing that. Just go ahead and get another honeyberry. So anyway, thanks for
Do
thinking
you
that
eat
through.
the honeyberries?
I do. I do. I
Oh,
mix
okay.
them with
Well,
the
then you need them.
strawberries. I
Oh,
mix them with
okay. Well, good.
strawberries.
Then you need a honeyberry. All right. You got to mention them. Go before we leave.
We can't do V. If we did V and didn't mention Violas, then people would say, who did you get to replace Carol on the podcast? They're acting like Carol, but they're not Carol. So we had to say V is for Violas too. And
Because it's edible.
I snuck it in as an edible in the vegetable section. I wouldn't sit there and eat Violas, but you wouldn't, you know, you
They're
can put
pretty
them.
in ice cubes. They're pretty if you sugar them and put them on a cake,
Well, mostly
or
people
if you
sugar
put them in
violet
salad.
rather than violets.
Yeah, you
But
could sugar violas. Why not?
you could. I'm
They're
not, but
just they're just cultivated violets. It's not that big a
that's
deal.
true. Okay.
Do the quote.
Please, no matter how much we advance technologically, please don't abandon the book. There is nothing in our material world more beautiful than the book. Patty Smith. And on the bookshelf, you have it, and I'm waiting for my library to deliver it to me, I think. They've got a book waiting for me down there. I need to go get it after we record, but
It's called A Year and a Day on Just a Few Acres by Peter Larson. And this one I would put in the category of I left my job as a blank and I became a farmer and I've loved it. Although
good.
it's really hard. That's it in a nutshell. You need to talk about it for a minute from the notes because I have a cat trying to eat a cord.
Okay. So Peter Larson, the author, is a 44-year-old principal of an architectural firm, decided to leave his job to restart his family's seventh-generation farm near Ithaca, New York. He encounters doubting ghosts of his former self, hundreds of Franken chickens, 50 personable turkeys, 3 pigs, 1 enduring friendship, and the true self he has searched for his whole life.
So it is, and he has a YouTube channel too, which is called Just a Few Acres Farm. And the book reminds me of A Very Small Farm by William Robertson Winchester. I may have that wrong, but Winchester's his last name, which I loved, which was about an Oklahoma farm. Same type of deal, although he started all by himself. But anyway, this is a good book. It was written in like 2014, so it's old. And I found it at my library, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it because, I love reading about how people figure out how to farm or figure out how to garden or figure
Right,
out how to flower
right.
farm because it's a steep slope. Things go bad really fast. I mean, you can have,
Yeah,
caterpillars eat all of your sunflowers, and that's when you're good at it,
right, right.
or you can have a whole bunch of crows come in and eat your sunflowers. Or you can have disasters with your chickens. It's just all kinds of things can happen. And I think they're lots of fun to read.
Yeah, they are. And I like this idea for 50 personable turkeys because I had an uncle that raised turkeys for a while. And I remember once as kids, we went over to see his turkey operation. Lord have mercy. They were just all in this great big open barn thing, just hundreds of turkeys, gobble, gobble, gobble,
Talking, talking.
talking.
That reminds me, there's a really funny Instagram reel right now where a lady had a tom turkey who just was out of control. So she bought him an inflatable female. turkey, and his wife was not happy. So it's a very funny
Oh my
reel.
gosh, that is
He's
funny.
strutting around that plastic. Tom turkeys are not very smart.
All right. So anyway, the book is, and I'm waiting for it from my library too, A Year and a Day on Just a Few Acres by Peter Larson. We'll put links. Apparently you can still buy it. And so that's one of those books where after I get it at the library, I might think, I'd like to read this again. So I might have to buy it.
Yeah, it's a fun book. All right. And then I've got a quote, and then you're going to do our dirt. So the quote is, "The grass is not, in fact, always greener on the other side of the fence. No, not at all. Fences have nothing to do with it. The grass is greenest where it is watered. When crossing over fences, carry water with you and tend the grass wherever you may be." And that was from Robert Fulghum, or Fulham.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So the dirt, I guess I found the dirt.
you
Or
did. No, you found it.
the
Not me.
2,000-year-old perfume garden in the ancient city of Pompeii has been restored to its former glory. And this is a Smithsonian article. And it is very interesting to know that in the 1950s, there
Mhm.
was a botanist, Wilhelmina Jasmensky. I butchered that. She identified traces of pollen, spores, and plant fossils in the ancient city of Pompeii, suggesting that the site once was a lush and cultivated garden. So now they have restored it to its former glory. Thousands of roses,
Wow.
ruscus plants, violets, cherry trees, and vines. And they say, having that garden restored is crucial to the understanding of the city. And they think that a lot of early perfumes and things were developed, and they
From
found lots
natural
of,
things
yes, small glass
instead of
terracotta
chemicals.
containers have been discovered, which they think may have been used to bottle ointments for the floral segments. Anyway, it's a really fun article, lots of nice pictures. And so just more history and more interesting facts about gardens.
It's definitely it's a beautiful garden.
It is a beautiful garden.
Oh, and they've got Oyas. I don't know if they call them that, but that's what they are. Where they call them dolias. So the watering deals, the clay pots.
Yes.
It looks amazing. I can't wait to read it. I didn't read it yet. So
Okay.
I'm going to read
So
that.
that's one piece of dirt. The other piece of dirt I sent you because I saw a clip on a local news station via Instagram.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just sit there all smug. We talk about your armadillo woes of last year, and I
Hmm.
found out that there are armadillos in Indiana. They
Yeah.
Not a
You're going
lot.
to hate them.
They don't cause a
Yeah.
lot of problems yet.
Yeah, they will. They will.
But if you should find an armadillo in Indiana, you are asked to call this or check in with this hotline or website or whatever, because they like to keep track of where the armadillos are. But they said they've been here for forever, but they're just starting to kind of the population died down and now it's coming back. And anyway,
Yeah, we didn't think they were going to cause too much trouble here either
I
because
can't
they were
imagine
not.
an
Yeah, but
armadillo
now they
has to
are.
travel a long way to get into my garden.
Yeah, you'll be fine. It's
Yeah,
the
I'll be
people out in the
fine. But
country.
anyway, I thought you would get a kick out of that.
It's time for the armadillos to start up again. This is about when it starts. Little creeps.
Little
All right,
creeps.
go ahead.
I like old bookstores, the smell of coffee brewing, rainy day naps, farmhouse porches, and sunsets. I like the sweet, simple things that remind me that life doesn't have to be complicated to be beautiful. Brooke Hampton.
So that takes us to our rabbit holes, and I know what my rabbit hole is. My rabbit hole is Substack.
Oh, yes. Yeah, with your new blog post on
Hmm.
Substack.
Yeah, I've started putting all my blog posts on Substack. So come subscribe, people, if you want to get them. And there's a lot to Substack that I didn't realize.
Exactly.
Even though I write our newsletter for the Garden Angelus now, there's just so much more to Substack. And it basically has a feed like a Twitter feed. And what reminded me of it was the old bookstores because somebody made she put out that it's basically like being in a bookstore with good coffee and plants and stuff. And I said, I hope it stays this way because right now it's a very pleasant place to be.
It is very pleasant. And actually, speaking of bookstores, there is a woman who writes a sort of a daily diary of every Friday that she works in this bookstore somewhere in the UK. I don't know exactly where, She has a
Ooh, I
great
want to
sense of
follow her.
humor. She has a great sense of humor, and if you for free, you get the Friday, which is all I get. She has a paid version. But anyway, she just talks about, people that come in out of the rain or come in looking for the bathroom or come in and are disappointed that it's a bookstore or
I
people
can't
that come
imagine.
in.
Who is that? The
I
person
don't
that comes
know.
in and goes, "Oh, darn, it's a bookstore."
But it's very charming and a fun Friday read. I haven't read it yet today, so that's something to look forward to. But
You
anyway,
gotta get the link for us. That's your
that
mission.
but if I wasn't retired in it, I would totally open up a bookstore in the town I grew up in because there isn't one other than Barnes and Noble. I
Yeah.
have to go down to Franklin to the charming Wild Geese bookshop. I know there are a ton in Indianapolis, but it's that's a bother.
We have 2. We have no, we have 4 because we have Bluebird Books, which I really love to go to in downtown Edmond. We have Commonplace, which is in Oklahoma City in Midtown. And then we have, oh, if I don't say them all, I'll be in trouble. Full Circle is up on Northwest Highway. It has a cafe, so I don't get to go in there anymore. And then the one in Edmond, Best of Books. So, and I spent most of my life with my children in Best of Books for years. It was owned by 2 ladies, and they were so much fun. And then they sold it to another family in Edmond.
So I would totally open up a bookstore in my hometown of Greenwood, Indiana, but I don't want to be tied to something like that. And, it's a lot of work. And the Wild Geese Bookshop in Franklin is killing it, as they say. They bring in all kinds of authors. They have 2 or 3 live author events. Sometimes they fill the 600-seat old Franklin Art Craft Theater, which is from
Good
the
for them.
1920s. They have some at not a brewery, winery nearby. She has different venues that she can use depending on how many. And I mean, just tons of people coming in there. That's where I went and saw
That's
Mike
really
Rowe in
great.
person. So
Is he funny in person like he is on his
he is very funny in
podcast?
person. He did a marvelous job. It was in November of 2019. So, and then the sad thing is he was going to come back with his mother, who's written several funny books.
Gosh, I love his mother.
That was April of 2020, and I was totally going to that because I met his mother at the Irma Bombeck Writers Workshop earlier in like 2016, and she was so sweet. But anyway, and funny.
She's funny.
Oh my
She's so
God.
funny.
I could go off on a tangent about never
I
mind.
think we're in a rabbit hole right now.
So, one other rabbit hole. But there's something about a bookstore that is, owned by a person and they
Mhm.
curate what's in that store. And
Sure
it's
they do.
different. But I will say I do miss the fact that Costco no longer has books.
Oh,
I
they don't have
always
books anymore?
no, they have a
Mm.
few maybe little children's books or whatever, but they got rid of their big book table, which, I would always go look at the books and, there's always somebody else there. It's like you never left Costco without looking at the books.
That's bad for authors because that was a big revenue stream for authors.
Yes, and
A
what
lot of
my
our
hope
friends' books were in there.
I was hoping that Costco would bring back the book table at least for Christmas, and I asked somebody in Costco, and they said maybe. So, but anyway, and then
Okay, so
I once got left at the store in the book department, a department store when they actually had a book department.
yeah,
We
your
were
mother left
I was
you.
there she was there with all of us, and there's 5, and so I was just browsing at books, and I looked up, and it's like I see my family nowhere. So I'm in a panic. But anyway,
Okay, so now that we went down that giant rabbit hole, and obviously your mom found you or came back because you're here,
yeah.
do you want to do your other rabbit hole?
Well, yeah, because I I started looking up another lost lady of garden writing because someone texted me and said, "Hey," and she showed the back leaf of the cover with the bio of a woman, and she said, "Do you know about this one?" I'm like, "No." So she sent me that book, and then I started reading another book that I just stumbled upon on Half Price Books, and she mentioned an author that was really influential to her, which was a herbalist author, and I thought, I don't know about her. So I'm down in the weeds thinking I do need to go out to the garden and stop looking up these people, but I did figure out I've written about 52 of them, and I have 42 on my list so far.
Wow. That's
was
really
surprised.
impressive.
I was surprised how many I'd written about. 52. Whew.
And you also did a Garden Bloggers Bloom Day post. I
I
wrote one about
did.
vegetable gardens, and so you wrote about the Bloom Day because you do that every month. It's your
On the 15th, and today's the 15th. Yeah, I did that yesterday.
Mhm.
So
So we've been busy. Been busy, busy.
it has been a busy time.
This week
Busy,
was very
not
busy.
busy, busy, not busy. Let's do garden commissions.
Okay. So my garden commission is keep watering those pots. Don't stop now. In fact, as soon as we get done with this and planning the next episode, I'm going to dart out there in my boots and water them. And one goal for this winter, it's a garden goal, not a garden commission, a goal, is to divest myself of a few containers, the smaller ones, because I want to focus on fewer plants because my deck is too full and because for one thing, small pots don't do as well in Oklahoma. So
Oh, they
watch
dry out
out
so
on
fast.
watch out on Facebook Marketplace. I'll be getting rid of some of my pots probably. And I also grow roses in pots, so I need bigger ones. And Teresa Byington is sending me Petite Peach, which was found in her garden. So she sent
Yes, Teresa
sweet.
spoke. Yes, she spoke at our
She
garden
spoke at your
club.
garden club. Your
Yes, it was a
garden club.
great talk. No, it's the garden club. Great talk on English cottage gardens. Of course, she did talk about roses, but she was real sort of unassuming the fact that Petite Peach was a discovery that she made in her garden. So I kind of stopped and says, "Wait a minute, Teresa. So you're saying Petite Peach on the market with a patent is your discovery?" And she's like,
It is.
"Yes."
It is. She's very humble. She's amazing.
She has
So
a lot
that's
of
what I'm
roses.
yeah, she does have a lot of roses. And she's
But
been to
she
England many, many times because
right,
her
but she
daughter lives
turns
there.
her I wouldn't say she turns her roses over, but she tends to, if it's not performing well, it goes and she puts in others, and so she
Me
has
too.
she's not afraid to try new ones and get rid of less performing old ones. Let's put it that way.
Hmm.
So
I've been asked to speak to a rose group next year. We'll see if it works
cool.
out. I think it will. Okay, so what are you doing in your garden this week?
It's kind of a repeat, mow, weed harvest, do some more cleaning out. The tree trimmers are coming on Thursday, and then I really need to get cracking on the garage, which is just become a mess. As they do in the summertime, stuff just gets piled up and you're like, I'll take care of that later. And then later comes and it's like, I need to get this cleaned up because I do want to try to overwinter a bunch of the pelargoniums in the garage because it's warm enough, or let's say it doesn't get that cold.
Right.
And they
They
could
won't
just
freeze.
they just kind of go dormant. So that's, before we know it, we'll be recording another episode, Dee.
Wow. And that's true. They come really fast now. I'm never ready. Okay, so before we wrap up, we're going to do one more segment.
Yeah, the We Do Not Care segment, because we did that video last week. It got a really nice response on Instagram and YouTube. So we thought we would occasionally say things we do not care about. And so you go, Dee.
We do not care what kind of fertilizer you use. Use what works for you.
And with that, I will wrap us up. Thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time.
But if you subscribe to our free newsletter, you get a link to listen to the podcast a day early and links to the products we discuss. Some of these are affiliate links, which are now on their own page. Plus, go over to YouTube and you can see us in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays.
If you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout, or you can make a one-time donation to PayPal.
Thank you to everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the Garden Gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.